Hello and welcome to News at 6. I am Vishal Dahiya. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti assures situation in the state will improve in the next 2 or 3 months. Asked Prime Minister Narendra Modi to focus on dialogues as the way forward. PDP leader Abdul Ghani Dar killed by militants in Pulwama district in South Kashmir. It is the third such attack on party cadres in the region in the past 2 weeks. Twelve CRPF men of the 74th Battalion killed in encounter with Maoists in Chhattisgarh Sukma district. 7 other troops suffer critical injuries in the encounter. And Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari leaves on 5-day tour to Armenia and Poland. Several agreements expected to be signed during the visit in the field of bilateral trade. Now the news in detail. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti today said the situation in the state will improve in the next 2 or 3 months. Mufti called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the national capital and pressed for dialogue with all stakeholders and arrest the deteriorating situation in the valley. She also met Home Minister Rajnath Singh.
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Monday amid the deteriorating law and order situation in the state. During the meeting, Mehbooba briefed the Prime Minister on the prevailing situation in the state and the way forward. She also appealed to him to take steps for the welfare of the state. However, she cautioned that an atmosphere needs to be created for a dialogue. The two leaders also discussed the recent incidents of stone pelting and the low voter turnout in the by-poll. She emphasized that dialogue was the only way to prevent the situation from deteriorating in the valley. The Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister also discussed the Indus Water Treaty with the Prime Minister.
जम्मू कश्मीर में पहले भी वाजपेयी जी साहब के टाइम में भी बातचीत हुई है। एल के अडवाणी डेप्यूटी प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, हुर्रियत के साथ बात हुई है, दूसरों के साथ बात हुई है और हमें जहां पर वाजपेयी जी छोड़ गए थे वहीं से इसको आगे ले जाना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो जम्मू कश्मीर की हालत जो है वो सुधरने का कोई चांस नहीं है.
Later, Mehbooba also met Home Minister Rajnath Singh. She discussed various issues, particularly on the security situation in the state with him. BJP's General Secretary in charge of the state, Ram Madhav, was also present.
आने वाला वक्त 2-3 महीने हमारे लिए बहुत अहम है. इसके लिए मैं मीडिया से भी गुजारिश करूंगी कि हमारी मदद कर लें ताकि हम जम्मू कश्मीर में जो हम हालात को सुधारना चाहते हैं उसमें मदद करें और जम्मू कश्मीर को दोबारा हम एक खुशहाल जम्मू कश्मीर बनाएं.
In another development, the PDP and the BJP, which are running the coalition government in the troubled state, are not on the same page on the issue of dealing the stone pelting. Against the backdrop of the strains, BJP's pointsman Ram Madhav asserted that there was no rift between the PDP and his party.
There is no rift. There is some issue with regard to MLC election. We noticed that there was some lack of communication between the two parties. Those things will be addressed. There is no rift between the two parties.
The valley is reeling under tension also because the PDP lost the seat to National Conference in the April 9th by-poll in about 3 years after the 2014 general elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Tension continued to rise in the Kashmir Valley after fresh clashes broke out between college students and police on the first day of college reopening today. In continuing attack on political leaders, a PDP leader was shot dead in Pulwama by unidentified men.
Unidentified militants shot dead a PDP leader and district president of Pulwama, Abdul Ghani Dar, in South Kashmir's Pingalana area. Dar, who's an advocate, was shot at 2 times in the chest and once in the shoulder from a close range with an AK assault rifle. This was the second political killing in South Kashmir in a week. Last Monday, militants killed a former public prosecutor affiliated with Opposition National Conference in Shopian district. The incident sparked tension in the valley with fresh clashes breaking out between the protesting students and security forces at the SP College in Srinagar. Security forces used baton to disperse the crowd after students indulged in stone pelting in the area. Colleges opened in Kashmir on Monday after a gap of 5 days, as higher education institutes were shut down in the wake of student protests in the valley last week against alleged high-handedness of security forces with students in Pulwama. Taking steps to control the tension, the police shut down 90% of nearly 300 WhatsApp groups that were being used to mobilize stone pelters in Kashmir.
कानूनी कार्रवाई भी की गई है और कुछ लोग इसमें अरेस्ट भी हुए हैं। और अभी तक जो हमने देखा कि जो ग्रुप एक्टिविटी होती थी कि छोटी छोटी बात पे यहाँ से पुलिस की गाड़ी गई, यहाँ से आर्मी की गई, उसकी मूवमेंट भी ये बताते थे जो कि सिक्योरिटी के हिसाब से ठीक नहीं था।
According to the police, these groups with around 250 members each were shut down in the last 3 weeks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
12 Central Reserve Police Force Jawans were killed in an encounter with Maoists in Chhattisgarh's Sukma on Monday. Several others were injured in the attack. All the victims are from the 74th Battalion of the CRPF. The Jawans were part of a road opening party when the Maoists attacked them. The encounter took place at around 12:25 p.m. between the Burkpal and Kabufa area, which is one of the worst Maoist violence-affected districts in South Bastar area of the state. One Jawan passed away en route to a hospital in Raipur. The evacuation process is on and reinforcements have also been rushed to the spot. Chief Minister Raman Singh has called for an emergency meeting to review the situation.
इस प्रकार से लगातार हमारे जवान मारे जा रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यजनक है और ये रमन सिंह जी की नक्सल जो नीति है वो असफल है।
In an effort to stop cow smuggling, the centre has suggested to the Supreme Court a 12-digit unique number for every cow in the country. Informing the Supreme Court about the measures to be taken for cow protection and to stop smuggling of cattle across the Indo-Bangladesh border, the centre said a committee headed by Joint Secretary, Home Ministry has been formed to find out ways to generate a unique identification for each cow in India. The UID will have details like age, breed, sex, lactation, height, body, color, horn type, tail, switch and special marks of the animal. The committee also recommended building shelter homes for abandoned cows in each district to be maintained by the state government.
These are all major policy matters which should have been discussed in Parliament, and Parliament is made redundant, and Parliament didn't have any opportunity to debate this issue, and they are taking the issue to Supreme Court, the apex court of the country, and submitting what government's position is today. And this position of government was not at all discussed, debated in Parliament. This is at one level undermining the Parliament.
Does the government knows very well that 50% of pregnant women in India are underweight? What is that they want to do about it? Thirdly, the 37% children in India at the age of 5 are stunted. What is the proposal for them? See, this is what it is. The problem is the priorities of these governments are completely, they're misfocused. What needs to be done on priority is not concerned about it.
In a major verdict, the Supreme Court today ordered the Kerala government to restore the services of ousted Director General of Police T.P. Senkumar, holding that his removal was arbitrary. In a blow to Pinarayi Vijayan-led LDF government, a bench of Justice Madan B. Lokur and Justice Deepak Gupta observed that Senkumar has been unfairly treated by the newly formed government. Setting aside the Kerala High Court order, the Supreme Court ordered Senkumar's reinstatement, who was removed as the state police chief by the LDF government. Senkumar had approached the Supreme Court after failing to get a favourable order from the Central Administrative Tribunal. On April 11th, the Kerala government defended its decision to transfer Senkumar, saying he had protected erring police officials in the 2016 temple fire tragedy in which 110 people were killed. After the order, incumbent DGP Loknath will have to be removed from the post. The high-stakes Delhi Municipal poll saw a voter turnout of around 54% on Sunday amid complaints of faulty EVMs from the Aam Aadmi Party. Delhi Chief Minister said faulty EVMs prevented people from exercising their rights. Meanwhile, polling for 2 wards were postponed due to the death of candidates.
The Delhi Municipal polls concluded on Sunday with a voter turnout of around 54%, just surpassing the figures of 2012 polls. Following a slow start in the morning, voting gradually picked up and became fairly brisk towards the evening.
You can say it is around 54%. And polling percent of East Delhi is around 55% or more. Similarly, North is little less than East Delhi. It is a 54% plus. And 50% is the South Delhi.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, meanwhile, once again rigged up the issue of EVMs, claiming that faulty EVMs prevented many voters from casting their votes. The Aam Aadmi Party Supreme also alleged that many voters with valid voter slips were not allowed to exercise their franchise. The State Election Commission, however, said 18 EVMs were replaced owing to battery or button-related issues.
Election Commission of Delhi has done a very shoddy job, right from bringing the Generation 1 EVMs. पहली जनरेशन 15 साल पुरानी मशीनें लेके आए जिसके अंदर कोई भी पेपर ट्रेल नहीं था, जिससे वोटर को नहीं पता चल रहा उसका वोट कहां जा रहा है। उसके बाद इन्होंने इस तरीके की घपलेबाजी की है वोटर लिस्ट के अंदर। ये बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे लगता है दुख देने वाली बात है और बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत देने वाली बात है।
The Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress hope to wrest power from the BJP, which has governed the municipal corporation for the last 2 terms. But the BJP is confident of another victory.
दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की 200 से ज़्यादा सीटें आई और दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की को तीनों नगर निगमों में पुनः बहुमत मिलेगा।
दिल्ली में आम आदमी पार्टी पहली बार लड़ रही है और जनता ने मन बनाया, जैसे पहली बार दिल्ली के अंदर आम आदमी की दिल्ली सरकार बनाई थी, अब एमसीडी के अंदर भी आम आदमी की सरकार बनेगी। कुछ बीजेपी वालों ने कंफ्यूज करने की कोशिश करी, जैसे वो पहली बार इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं, परंतु हम बताने में सफल रहे कि 10 साल से एमसीडी के अंदर बीजेपी ही है और उन्हीं की सरकार थी, उन्हीं के खिलाफ वोट देना है।
All the tall promises made by either Aam Aadmi or BJP is not for implementing. Its promises are only promises, nothing is being implemented. That is one of the main reasons why people are lacking interest in the election process.
Polling was held in 270 of the 272 wards of the 3 municipal corporations. The election to 2 wards has been postponed due to the death of the candidates. The counting will be held on 26th of April. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Bihar Assembly on Monday unanimously passed the Bihar GST Bill 2017 along with the Bihar Taxation Amendment Bill to implement the GST regime from July 1st this year. Bihar took these GST-related bills after Parliament passed them earlier this month. With the ruling JDU, RJD, Congress and even opposition BJP and its NDA partners in support of GST, the House adopted the related bills to pave the way for rollout of GST through voice vote. And here are some more updates from across the country in Nationwide. A Delhi court on Monday issued notice to CBI on a petition of Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh's wife over the charge sheet filed against the couple in a DA case. In a petition, the Chief Minister's wife had alleged that the probe agency had not followed the due process of law during investigation and sought that the charge sheet filed in the case should not be taken cognizance of. Former Goa Chief Minister Digambar Kamath was granted interim anticipatory bail in the 35,000 rupees crore illegal mining scam. Kamath also appeared before the SIT for questioning in connection with the case. The veteran congressman was summoned last week to appear before Crime Branch. A Delhi court on Monday convicted underworld gangster Chota Rajan and 3 others in a fake passport case. The arguments on sentencing will be heard on Tuesday. The charges against Rajan was framed for procuring a fake passport in the name of Mohan Kumar with the help of 3 government officials. Rajan is currently lodged in Tihar jail while the other 3 accused are out on bail. The Supreme Court on Monday will hear a petition seeking a direction to make Hindi a compulsory subject nationwide for students up to class 8th. According to petitioner, the study of Hindi in schools across nation will promote fraternity, dignity of individual, unity and national integration. Let's take a short.
Make this country into a Congress Mukt Bharat. Are you going to resort to the same strategy where you'll be breaching the fortresses of other parties?
Congress is a culture. We have to get rid of that culture.
RSS will be emboldened now with the kind of mandate which BJP has got, and they will try and impose a Hindutva agenda. Does it really isolate the minorities, especially the Muslims?
All those who have been talking like this, they have always tried to disturb the secular character of this country.
Health policy also talks about increased spending, about 2% of the GDP. That figure is insufficient.
These are all wrong notions. We have to increase the capacity to spend.
Watch To The Point with Union Health Minister Jagat Prakash Nadda only on Rajya Sabha television.
Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favorite. In 2011, Homai Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
Welcome back. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari today left on a 5-day trip to Armenia and Poland. He will reach Armenian capital city of Yerevan tonight, after which he will leave for Poland on Wednesday. Several agreements are expected to be signed during the visit, especially in the field of bilateral trade. The visit is also important with a view to connect with nations of close political synergy.
On the first leg of the tour, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari will be in the Armenian capital of Yerevan. There he will hold talks with the Armenian President Serge Sargsyan and the Prime Minister Karin Karapetyan separately.
There is scope for further cooperation in several sectors such as IT, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, automobiles, garments and textiles. The Indian group Kalpataru Power Transmission Limited is currently executing a transmission tower project in Armenia. India has also assisted Armenia in setting up a center of excellence with the Param supercomputer.
The Vice President will also address students of the Yerevan University during his visit. From Armenia, the Vice President will leave for Warsaw, the capital of Poland, on April 26th. In Warsaw, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari will hold discussions with the Polish President Andrzej Duda, the Prime Minister Beata Szydło and Speaker of the Senate.
In terms of ease of doing business, India is becoming more and more a popular destination with our growth of 7% and a big market. Certainly that has already attracted about $600 million worth of Polish investments, and we welcome more, including in the defense sector.
Several agreements will be signed during the 5-day visit to the two countries. The Vice President is being accompanied by his wife Salma Ansari, Union Minister of the State for Small, Medium and Micro Industries Giriraj Singh, MP Sitaram Yechury, DP Tripathi and Thupstang Chewang and senior officials. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha television.
The issue of H-1B visa remained the focal point of discussion, with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley raising the matter with his US counterpart Stephen Mnuchin. The move comes amidst fears from India that the curb on H-1B visas could impact the movement of Indian IT professionals to America. During his meeting with the US Treasury Secretary, Jaitley also highlighted the contribution of Indian companies and professionals made to the US economy. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order for tightening the rules of the H-1B visa program to stop its misuse and ensure that visas are given to the most skilled or higher paid. He has also emphasized on efforts to ensure free and fair trade practices. The finance minister, who was on a 5-day trip to US, will today embark on his second leg of 2-day Russia visit. Jaitley is likely to meet his Russian defense minister, Sergei, to discuss bilateral relations and boost military ties between India and Russia. Jaitley will return to Delhi on 27th April. Afghanistan's defense minister and army chief of staff have resigned after the deadliest ever Taliban attack on a military base on Friday. Defense Minister Abdullah Habibi and Army Chief Khaddam Shah Shaheen quit after more than 100 soldiers were killed in a Taliban attack on a military base at Mazar-e-Sharif on Friday. 12 army officers, including 2 generals, have also been sacked for negligence over the attack.
ما باندې هیڅ فشار نه دی راوړی بلکې ما په خپل خوخه باندې زمنګ د ګران هیواد سرلوړي افغانستان د ملي ګټو په خاطر باندې استعفا کړی زه په دې باور یم چې ځوان نسل به وشي کولای چې په ډیره منډه او په ډیره زړورتیا باندې به دا ستونزې ډکې کړي او دا تشه به ډکوي او دې کې به حتمي کامیابي موجوده وي.
خواسته شده که ما ادامه بدیم، اما ما احترام به ذهنیت عمومی داشتیم و از رئیس جمهور و رئیس اجرایه التماس کردیم که بگذاریم فرصت بیشتری به دیگاه داده شود که اونا را هم در معرض امتحان بدیم.
Snubbing the country's political establishment, voters in France have sent far-right Marine Le Pen and political novice Emmanuel Macron through to the second round of the country's presidential election. With 96% of the polling stations declared, newcomer Macron was leading the field with 23.7%. National Front leader Pen was close behind on 21.8%. The two are now set to face each other in a runoff election on 7th of May. Neither candidate hails from the establishment parties that have dominated the country for decades. It was a stunning victory for Macron, a former investment banker who has never before stood for elected office, though he served as economy minister under Prime Minister Valls. He quit to launch a new party. He is now the favorite to become France's next president. If he wins, Macron would become France's youngest ever president. Sunday's first round of contest was held under tight security after a terror attack in Paris on Thursday night disrupted the final day of campaigning. The incumbent president, socialist François Hollande, made the decision not to run for a second term. He congratulated both the candidates who will face each other in the runoff for the presidency.
La première étape qui doit conduire les Français à l'Élysée est franchie. Ce résultat est historique. Il fait reposer sur moi désormais la responsabilité immense de la défense de la nation française.
Je souhaite, dans 15 jours, devenir votre président. Le président de tout le peuple de France. Le président des patriotes face à la menace des nationalistes.
Now let's take a look at some international stories in Global Buzz. Nepal's Madheshi parties struck a deal with the coalition government. The Nepal cabinet approved a constitution amendment and local polls agreement with Sanghya Gathbandhan, an alliance of Madheshi and Janjati parties. Under the deal, they will take part in the local body elections as the revised constitution amendment bill is passed in parliament through a fast-track process. Chinese President Xi Jinping told US President Trump on Monday that he hopes all sides will exercise restraint on the issue of North Korea and that China opposes all activities that violate the UNSC resolution. Xi said during a phone conversation with Trump that all sides should avoid anything to worsen the tensions. The world's first vaccine against malaria will be introduced in 3 countries, Ghana, Kenya and Malawi. This will start in 2018. The RTSS vaccine trains the immune system to attack the malaria parasite, which is spread by mosquito bites. The pilot will involve more than 750,000 children aged between 5 and 17 months. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has called for talks to resume with the opposition. He also said he wanted local elections to take place. His comments come. Another large demonstration is planned for Monday after 3 weeks of tense protests across the country. Demonstrators have been calling for presidential elections due next year to be brought forward and for President to step down. The ICC's second board meeting of 2017 will start in Dubai on Monday. The tussle with the BCCI over its plans to reform the global financial and governance model will take center stage discussion. The model, first proposed in the 4th February board meet of ICC, sought a fair distribution of cricket revenues among member boards against the current practice of a few, including India, Australia and England, walking away with the lion's share. India had opposed the model, saying it wasn't fair to it as it contributed the most in terms of cricket revenues to the global body. The meeting will conclude on 27th April. So that's all in the news bulletin. Keep watching Rajya Sabha television.